I'm going to show you about the zip green and the zip pink relationships that they have in our system, and they're basically reversals both at the top of cycle and at the bottom of the cycle, and you're going to see how the zip pink line acts as one of our keys in the turnaround. The zip cyan also is involved in some of these, but it's basically those areas where the zip green runs flat on 0 for 1 or more days, or the zip green runs at 100 for 1 or more days. So I'll flip over to the chart and we'll begin. I'm going to start right here, and I'll share with you, like for example, the zip pink right now is at 13, and this is the way you look at this. You want to keep the zip pink as the next highest candle above zip green. Now zip pink at 13 is way too high. It's an area where very seldom does is the bottom of the cycle appear. If you go on to the next day, you have zip pink at 9.57, but you have the zip blue at 9.19. I'm not sure if you can see it there on the video, but we now have zip pink above the zip blue, and that, when we have that, then it's usually not a reaction for, in this case, an uptrend, because we have zip green at the bottom. However, on this day here, I should I'm going to create a vertical line so that we can see this more effectively. On this day right here, we have a zip pink that has gone under the blue. So in other words, the zip green is at 0, and the next highest line, or lowest line I should say, is at 8.2. Now again, that is pretty darn high, but there's one key factor that occurred here, and that is the pink dropped into the lowest point. And when it travels up above, and then all of a sudden, bingo, it hits the lowest, or it becomes next to the green, even though it is real high, it's the start of an uptrend. And that overpowers some other reactions in the system. And keep in mind here, I'm just on the zip chart. I'm not going into other charts in this example, because there's just really a lot of power in the zip chart. And I just want to make that evident to you in this relationship with the bottom of cycle changes. While I'm right here, I do want to point out the zip pink over on this area right here. The zip pink has gone up now since we're back over here. We're now 1, 2, 3, 4 days it's gone up. The zip pink is at the highest point. It's next to the green, and it's about ready to turn down. The zip pink is at 96, and the zip green obviously is at 100. And this again is a classic turnaround event, because both zip yellow and zip blue have gone down along with zip red. Now the day before, on this day right here, everything was up really high. Your zip yellow is at 96, your zip red is at 98, your zip blue is at 93, and your zip pink is at 96. And so everything is sky high. You're not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. The next day you end up with a spinning top, and it's pretty much the top, because now you've recognized that the zip yellow, blue, and red have all gone down, and that's what's going to happen the following day with the zip pink line. And you know from your leading indicator, or excuse me, from your indicator line definition video, if you haven't seen that, you should go look at it. Your zip pink is your price barometer, basically. It identifies both directional and locational aspects of price. In this case here, we're right up near the top, and there's only one place for it to go, and it's down. It's a great short move. Catch it at the end of the day, especially with a spinning top, because tomorrow it's likely to gap down, and it may not go above where it was when you closed yesterday, which in this case is exactly what happened. Okay, now I'm going to move on to this one here. This is a case where the zip pink is high, and we can obviously see the giant candle that we had today. But before I point that out, I want to back up one day, and I want to show you that this is the day that the zip green hit 0. This is also the day that zip pink was the lowest. You have zip pink at 2.5, you have zip blue at 3.5, zip yellow at 2.8, and red is at 9. So this is the day, again, think of that idea that I was trying to tell you, that when it crosses down below the first, what do I want to say, when it crosses down right next to the pink, right next to the green, the pink crosses down, that's the day that it's going to go up. Okay, and this is really tough to identify with, to see what's going to happen here, because your zip pinks are coming in at a low crescent angle. You know, they're swinging around to the right and coming in low, whereas your zip green just crashed, boom, when it went way down real fast. And so it's not likely that we could see what happened. You're going to wait till tomorrow, and you know, you get to the open, and bingo, you've got a giant gap down, and you're going to go down, and then it's going to end up going up. You can't see that stuff or identify that necessarily from this day where the vertical red line is right now. But it would be an exciting day to trade on with the huge gap. If you were watching it, it would be great. And you obviously know that today this green gap has a red peak with a zip yellow that's under 50, which indicates it's going to be down tomorrow. So that one there is an example. You don't often see the zip pink up above real high like that, but I just wanted to make you aware of it, because when it's up high like that, especially with the red and zip red peak setup, it's just boom, it's going to be down the following day. Going on to these red vertical lines, on this line, right, this first one we have right here, we have a again, it's a crescent, a zip pink. It's going, if you look at it like this, it's just going down, 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 down. So are the prices, okay? And as a result of that, they're just, like right here, zip pink is at 5.5. On this day here, zip pink is at 1.1. And so you're continuing in that downward cycle. You're up here when the trend started, you had the zip Zion as the highest. When zip Zion is highest, you're in a downtrend, and it boom, 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 it goes down. And even on this day here, it's down. The following day, it's not down, but what do you have? You have a red top, or a red peak, I should say, with a zip. You have a zip red peak with a zip yellow. Your zip yellow is only at 19. Your zip red's at 43. So keep in mind, you've got a lower red peak here. It's under 50. These are one of these low peaks that we talk about every once in a while. And they're real good classic down, next day down moves, which it is in this case. And so now we're moving. I should have brought this over, but here was that red peak that I was talking about just now. You had from over here you had the Zip Zion that was highest as the start of the trend, and it just moved on to the next day. There was again the Zip highest, or Zip Zion is highest. Here you got your red peak, which points to another down day. This day right here, now we're at Zip Pink is at 1.2, and because Zip Yellow and Zip Yellow is at 3, Zip Blue is at 4, those are very low, and they could bounce up tomorrow. And what happens the next day? It gaps up. It's got a real short upper tail. And when that happens, I mean, within minutes, you're going to be able to tell just by looking at the candle that you're going back into another downturn today. And what happens today? The Zip Blue and Yellow both go up, as we thought they would, but your pink candle, which is your directional price and locational candle, that stayed down. So your pink line is down. Your pink today is actually at 0.74, and the following you're looking at this right now. You've got a number of indicators that would say, hey, it's going up tomorrow, but you have a very low pink candle, and oftentimes these things will just continue on going down, as it does in this case. I explained this area right in here a lot in a video with I think it was with Zip Zion. But what ends up happening here is throughout these days you have about 150 to 200,000 in volume each day, and this next candle where the vertical red line is on right now, that candle has 1.8 million in volume. So you had a tremendous increase in volume. Your Zip Zion showed that through a drop in its negative volume. I think this day had a lot of short selling on it. It could have been half and half, although, because you do have a huge lower tail. So there was a lot of stuff bought at the end. But the key to this, when you have this, because on this point here, you're not super convinced. Because why? Because you have a Zip Zion that's highest, and that's telling you it's going down tomorrow. Even though your Zip Yellow, Blue, Gray, and Red have gone up, the Zip Zion says you're going down, and your pink has stayed down. And I'm sure if you looked at the other indicators on the other 3 charts, you'd find supporting documentation for that. But I'm not going to go to the other indicator. I'm just working on the Zip chart today with these examples, just to show you the green and Zip Green and Zip Pink relationships. Anyway, your key, as in many cases, is the Zip Zion comes down to 0, with your Zip Pink at this point is 0.3, and that is going to be typically the bottom candle of your cycle. We look at the candle itself. It's a hammer in nature, which again indicates a long lower tail. And a lot of times the hammer has a tail that's 3 or 4 times longer than the body. This one, I think, is just is larger than the body, maybe 1.5 times or 1.5 times. 1.1 times. But whatever, it is indicative of your signal that tells you that tomorrow is a up day. And even though it gaps down and goes down a little, you know that you have that knowledge of knowing that it's going up the following day. And that information is powerful. That's what this system is all about. to give you that knowledge of identifying what's happening. This one here, I'm going to bring this back down a little bit and show you that we got 2 days with zip green at 0, and we got no pink candle. I mean, it's way up there, right? But what happens in this particular situation, if you want to trade it, you have got a higher right leg W in the zip pink, also in the zip gray, also in the zip blue and the zip yellow. So you've got 4 high right leg lines that just they just tell you that it's going up. You have a low angle red right here that tells you what? It's going down. But you may not be aware of it, and that's why I want to clarify it. Your right leg W's, and who knows if your right leg W's are much stronger than low angle tops or that type of thing. And here again, just so that you see this, you've got a low angle top and the red is at 64. A lot of times your low angle tops are much higher. As they go down lower and lower, it can affect them, but that really is not a factor. The big factor is that you've got a huge number of right leg W's, and I bet if we checked the other charts in this day, the same thing would be the case. And so what happens is you want to trade it, you know from a right leg W it's going up the next day. Again, it opens up, it's just a little bit above the close on this vertical line day, and on this day here, like I say, it goes up a little bit. It's got a real short lower tail, and you're in a position to know that it's going up. So bingo, you get involved in a long trade right away when you've got that little red candle right at the bottom. So it's and then obviously at this candle, what do we have? We have a zip pink at 67, and that's the highest. And so next day, it's going down. As your zip pink rules, zip pink is highest, it goes down. Zip pink is lowest, it goes down. If you move over here, what do you have here? A zip pink at 80, and your zip red is at 76. And so your zip gray is at 79. So you got zip pink highest. You're in a T-top doji, which is indicative of a top, and bingo, you have 2 really nice days down that follow this zip pink highest. Moving on to this one here, I've got again, this is that area where I'm talking about where the zip green is running flat for a few days. The zip pink is not lowest. It is running high, and what happens? Boom! It comes down on this day, and it is lowest. It's right next to the green. Green obviously is at 0, and the pink is at 3.7. It goes up the next day, but as you can see, we start then a period of consolidation, and that's real logical when you think about what you're looking at here, because you've got a day that dropped, 6 days that dropped down, and now you got a battle going on between the bears and the bulls, and which way is it going to go from here? Well, that's why a lot of times, I mean, you could have made a lot of money on this day. Okay, maybe it only went up $1. Who knows? It just depends on how much of your investment you want to put into it. But as a day trader, if you mentally think of yourself as a day trader, we have a tendency to put in a little bit more funds than most might put in. But it's not a recommendation or anything of that nature. It's just, I'm just trying to give you a fact of what I see and hear and identify with. It's just an obvious conclusion that is reached when you talk with people about what's happening and discuss their trading. So swing traders, you do, however you look at things, you do need to stay within a reasonable level of money management. You can't invest your entire nest egg into something that's, you just don't do stuff like that. So I always say trade reasonably, and I really mean it. But this red line, as I said earlier, is where the pink reaches the bottom next to the green, and that's your signal for I'm going up. Going over here to the to this next line here, I think, yeah, these are the last few that I'm going to talk about. This here is this one here is a classic pink line running way to the bottom, and you got zip pink right there at 2.6, and it's coming, looking at these candles here. Next day it's at 1.9. This day, I should do it this way here. This day here it's at 2.6. Your zip pink line is at 2.6. I forget to drag the lines over because I do this because it's pretty hard to see when with the clicker button. They don't show up on the video very well, but it's easy to see these vertical lines. It's 2.6 vertical line there. Here the vertical line is 1.94. Here the line is 1.4. Here the pink line is 0.68. But what has happened here? The zip Zion came down and hit 0. And bingo. That's your sign for an upturn in the market. It's the bottom of cycle turnaround point. The next day you start up, and just looking at the zip chart, there is no indication the next day that you should sell. There's no indication on this day that you should sell. And I say that in particular, even though you have what you can see or may be able to see as a low angle up on the red, it's not real low angle on the zip red, but it is there. But the point you may not identify with is that when zip red hits 96, 7, and 8, it has a tendency to bounce around up there. Zip red right now is at 95. Let me move this over. Zip red right now is at 95.8. So it's almost at your 96 point. And so what I'm just trying to tell you is, because everything is going up, because your zip Zion is establishing that fact, and that's probably the most critical part of one of the most critical keys in staying in the trade. You're going to stay in the trade on this one. And so the next day you get to a spinning top, actually a doji spinning top, which was a heck of a battle, and you have the zip pink that's come out on top, and you have the red and the gray, zip red and gray, that have gone down, and they've gone down a decent amount, but because your zip yellow and zip blue are in a power notch going up, because you're definitely in an uptrend. You can see it in your zip Zion. The zip Zion is no longer lowest, but everything indicates that things are going to move up. And so you hang on to the next day, and what do you get? You get another green 100 on your zip green, and your zip pink is at 94, your zip red is at 95, and your zip gray is at 97. So all of those, when you're in that 95, 6, 7, and 8, you can be at the peak. And with that, you also have, on this particular case, you also have the red and gray in a high M pattern. And you know from previous videos, a high M pattern is a next day down move, which you obviously get. It gaps down quite a bit now. When you look at this candle here, it almost gapped down to the open of the green candle on the previous day. So that was a pretty decent gap down. Now, One of the other ones that I'll talk about briefly is here. You got this pink that came out right here. Let me redo this so you can see it. Here's the pink that started at the bottom, and it is just a long swing to the right, and it ends up being high, staying high. Here it's at 96. I mean, it's been here for the last 3 days. Here's 90. Here's 97. Here's 97. Here's 96. Here's 97. When it stays up like that, the price, it just keeps on going up, and we can follow along with our zip Zion line that continues to move up. Now we've got a BOC in the zip blue, and BOC in the zip blue usually tell us what? Usually tells us this is a BOC higher. I'm sorry, a BOC higher on a peak usually tells us that the next day it's going down, and that's just off the zip chart. I mean, I'll bet you there's more. If I look at the other charts, I bet you there's more BOCs higher. You also have in the zip red, you have what do I want to say? A bottom of cycle, but it's not a bottom of cycle higher. It's a bottom of cycle lower. But in any case, what happens here next day, when you look at this, the next day the pink goes down. At least at the end of the day, the pink is down, but your Zion has gone up and hits the green, zip green, and that's definitely your turnaround for going down. And what happens, or what has happened here on this day, where the vertical line is now with the zip Zion at 100, you do have a little red drop in the peak, but there's not much. And it's at that point that you can start your, as a swing trader, you would start your swing and go all the way down. The last one that I want to talk about is over here, and this I'm going to expand this out a little bit and show you what this looks like, because right here we've got let me move this. Right here we have the zip yellow, blue, and red. Zip red's at 0.2, zip yellow's at 0.1, zip blue's at 0.1. Your zip pink is at 2.5. The next day, the zip pink is the lowest. It's at 2.2, and your blue's at 2.5, your yellow's at 2.5, and red's up at 7. And so this is telling you that it's going up. But there's other pressures, but look at it. It hardly goes up at all. And so by looking, we don't see it on this chart, but by looking at other lines on the other charts, you are likely to see that there may not be a lot of pressure in this move. And that's a little bit shared a little bit right here when you have a long curving move in your yellow and zip yellow and zip blue lines. So that's it for the trading or for the aspects associated with the green, zip green and the zip pink lines. It gives you some insight, hopefully, into how you can effectively trade those. They're classics in our business. We use them all the time. They show us, they give us a lot of information about reversals, and that's what we're all looking for, right? Is to be able to see what's happening tomorrow. It's exciting to be in this business. I hope you grab the fever. I love it. And we'll see you on the next